So hello and welcome to today's candidates discussion for the Burnaby Deer Lake riding. My name is Paul Holden. I'm the President and CEO of the Burnaby Board of Trade, and today I'm joined by Mehreen Chaudry, who's the candidate for the BC Greens, and Kang for the BC NDP. Welcome to both of you. I'd like to start by acknowledging that the event is being held on the traditional territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Tsleil-Waututh, Musqueam and Squamish nations. I'd also like to thank the annual partners of the Burnaby Board of Trade, who are a tremendous group of organisations who support the work that we do throughout the year. At the platinum level, we have Burnaby Now and the BCIT School of Business. At the gold level, we have SFU, Pacific Blue Cross, Douglas College, Fortis BC, Electronic Arts and ABC Recycling. And at the silver level, we have Scotiabank, Trans Mountain, Appia Development, Alexander College and the Port of Vancouver. So to kick things off today, I'll just go over the guidelines for today's discussion, which the candidates have already received. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to provide opening remarks in alphabetical order by last name. And candidates are asked not to interrupt the other candidates during the opening statements. During Q&A, I'll be the moderator for that, and I'll ask the questions of you. And you're both invited to answer each question, and we'll alternate who goes first. And we've got about a minute on each question as well. And just for the record, we did invite all candidates in this riding, and unfortunately Dennis was unable to attend, so we have Mehreen and Anne with us today. So let's get started, and we start off with 2 minutes, and Mehreen, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you so much. Really appreciate this opportunity. The Board of Trades gave us this opportunity when I was running for City Council also, and I got to meet a lot of people over there, and that was great. So a little bit about myself. I did run for City Council. I have been with the Burnaby Greens, working very closely with them also. This is my first time running as MLA with the BC Greens. I have an MBA, so I really do understand the business world and how that works, and how those things go. I've been working with different organizations here in DC. My motivation for running is because I'm a renter, I'm a mom, and I understand a lot of issues, and those are issues that I face personally. Childcare, I'm a professional woman, so I think it's very important for professional women to come out there and make a difference in our policy making. So that's why I'm here. We had the leadership debate, and yesterday Sonia, our leader, came out with a complete platform, which is now available on our website. We are a party which look forward. We are a party that works in collaboration with other parties to do what is best for the British Columbians. We have a keen focus on working for our communities and also working, with our communities, with our businesses, with our local city councils to come up with better solutions to resolve their problems and to support them, especially during this time of COVID. Where everybody is suffering, everybody is going through a really hard time. So we want to be able to support not just our communities, but also our businesses who, were very important part of how our community, prospers and does economically.
Thank you, Mehreen. Thank you for those opening comments. And Anne, let's go to you, please.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I am participating in this Zoom on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish, and I'm very proud to be representing Burnaby Deer Lake with John Horgan and the BC NDP. I have been a resident of Burnaby since 1986, and I worked as a special education teacher and as a music teacher in Burnaby School District. In 2008, I was elected to Burnaby City Council and had the honor of serving for 3 terms. In the 10 years that I served on Burnaby Council, I was a Burnaby Library Trustee and Parks and Recreation Commissioner, among various roles. I'm also a member of the Burnaby Board of Trade, and since 2008. And within the board, I have the pleasure of serving on the Pacific Gateway Committee since 2018. I was elected to the member of legislature in 2017 for the riding of Burnaby Deer Lake, and this time I'm seeking re-election. In the 3.5 years that I have had the privilege of serving in various roles, in 2017, I was appointed as a parliamentary secretary for seniors, where my mandate was to improve the lives of seniors in British Columbia. And in August of 2019, I was appointed as a parliamentary secretary for multiculturalism, where I began the important work of fighting against hate and racism. And most recently, we have seen here in Burnaby, we have seen many unfortunate incidents. In January of 2020, I had the honor of being appointed to the role of Minister of Citizen Services. One of my proudest accomplishments was the $50 million investment in connectivity and advocating for an additional $90 million for connectivity in the economic recovery plan. In early September this year, BC celebrated the 500th Community Connected, and businesses, tourism, families, and students in rural and remote Indigenous communities have greatly benefited from connectivity, especially during this time of pandemic. So I do really look forward to sharing my views on what BC NDP promises to accomplish in the next 4 years.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, both of you. So we're going to start with the questions, and we'll start with Anne on the first one, and we'll alternate as we move through. So this is with regards to policy related to COVID-19, and obviously this year has represented unprecedented challenges for our local business community because of the economic fallout of COVID, which was immediate and was significant, and the related business closures and curtailments have been significant since then. The next government will need to manage the ongoing pandemic while also sustaining our small business community and eventually bolstering consumer confidence. So we'd like to ask, what is your plan for doing this, and how will you support Burnaby businesses through the next months and years? And again, on this one, if I could remind you, we're shooting for about a minute, and I will wave if we start to stray a little bit too much past that. So Anne, let's start with you.
Thank you, Paul. First of all, I do want to give my condolences to those who have lost a loved one during the pandemic. It has been a very challenging time for all British Columbians. We have to remember that people are the economy. By helping people succeed, we can build a recovery for everyone. Under the BC Liberals, the economy only worked for the top 2%, but not for everyone else. And wages stopped growing while the cost of living skyrocketed. The BC NDP is making a difference for all people in British Columbia. We have put in policies to create an economy that works for all people, people like you and me. And during COVID-19, BC NDP invested an unprecedented $8 billion to support people and kickstart the economy. We are providing a PST rebate on machinery and equipment so people can invest in their businesses. And as well, we will also be providing a 15% tax credit for hiring new employees. And these policies will support Burnaby businesses in the next month and years to come.
Thank you, Anne. Mehreen, can we go to you?
Yes, so the plan that we've come out with is that we're allocating about $300 million to create a 6 months rent subsidy for all the small businesses. We're also looking at retooling the provincial government, the grant program, to focus on supporting small tourism operators. And we're working with non-profit tourism businesses also to attract a separate grant program that will ensure that these businesses can survive COVID. COVID has been, a lot of people have lost jobs. A lot of people are, it has really affected the ability for people to work. So we want to encourage people to come out and start working again. People are also scared. So we want to make sure that there's a safe environment for them to work. For that, we're supporting the small businesses with rent subsidies. We're also working towards a program which is income security, which gets people to work, to take up jobs. And also, once they have income security provided to them, they're more liable to stay in a job and to, seek out employment. I think that is also one of the challenges right now for businesses, is finding people.
Thank you, Mehreen. We'll come on to the second question now, and I'll go to you first on this one, Mehreen. And it's on taxation. The employer health tax is a net new cost for businesses. Currently, it applies to businesses with $500,000 in payroll, which can really be just 8 or 9 people, meaning many small businesses have had to pay this tax. What is your position on the employer health tax in general? And would you consider extending the payroll exemption threshold from $500,000 to $1.5 million to remove more small businesses from this tax? Mehreen, can we start with you?
Yes, I think this is an achievement by working with NDP, the Green Party and the NDP that work together to remove MSP. I think that has also provided a huge relief to not just individuals, but also to businesses. And I would consider that, you know, that is an achievement of a minority government, that we worked in collaboration with NDP to get that removed. I think this is definitely something that needs to be looked at. And I think we need to figure out the best way to support our businesses. And if that means extending the payroll exemption threshold, then that is something that needs to be done right away. So as you know, we have the snap election. We're sitting out here and campaigning instead of having, you know, a running government, which should be actually looking at these things. So as soon as we get back to work after the snap election, that would be a top priority, where we would work and look at these things and make sure that the businesses get the relief that they need.
Thank you, Mehreen. Same question to you, Anne.
So I've discussed this, I have had the opportunity to discuss this issue with many businesses in Burnaby and around the Metro Vancouver area. And I understand the issue and challenges surrounding the EHT. The BC NDP eliminated the regressive MSP premiums because having good healthcare is essential to people and should not be a barrier to anyone. The EHT is only paid by the largest 15% of BC businesses, and businesses with payrolls under $500,000 a year pay no EHT. Only businesses with a payroll over $1.5 million pay the full amount. And 96% of the revenue comes from the largest 5% of employers. So the EHT allows us to cover a portion of the cost of eliminating the unfair MSP fees, which saved families up to $1,800 a year. And I do want to emphasize that when families have more money in their pockets, it actually stimulates our local economy. And with the additional dollars that they have, families will use the money to buy food or shop for clothing, which would help our small businesses thrive here in Burnaby.
Thank you, Anne. We'll stay on the theme of taxation, and I'll come to you first on this one, Anne. One of the top concerns of the Burnaby business community prior to COVID was the burden of soaring property taxes, which are driven by the highest and best use, where the value of a property is based on its redevelopment potential, not on what it's currently being used for. What's your take on the highest and best use, and will your party commit to implementing solutions such as a split assessment, which would save local businesses significantly on their property tax bills? Anne, we'll start with you.
Definitely. This is a big challenge for small businesses. Before COVID-19, our party pulled together an interim fix that would have provided immediate relief for the 2020 tax year. And it was ready to go when we were talking to a number of municipalities and they were interested in using it. Then COVID-19 hit and it changed everything, and everyone pivoted to supporting businesses through the pandemic. So our interim fix will be available for municipalities to use in the next year, and we're going to continue to work urgently on a permanent solution. I just wanted to really emphasize that it was the BC Liberals who created the problem because they sat on this issue for 10 years and yet they did nothing to fix it. Our interim fix was the only viable option to provide immediate relief in 2020. But before the COVID-19, we had a choice. One is to do nothing for 2020 or to bring an interim solution while we worked on a permanent fix. So our focus for this year, obviously, turned to supporting small businesses through COVID, but we're committed to getting this done to fix this problem for small businesses.
Thank you, Anne. Mehreen, your thoughts?
My thoughts on that is that had we not been in the snap election and out there, this fix would have already been implemented and we'd already be on our way. I think diverting our attention from what needed to be done by calling this election has really affected not just the individuals, but the small businesses. This should have been done months ago, had the NDP was really committed to doing this. that is where the minority government comes in, that we, the Green Party, are there to make sure that these things are getting done timely and the support is being provided timely, and whoever is in power is being held accountable. So again, making the case for minority government, this is the perfect example where, you know, the small businesses are not being provided the support that they need. So yes, definitely the Green Party would ensure that whoever is in power, that we will make sure that this is taken care of as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mehreen. On to the next question now, and I'll be coming to you first on this one, Mehreen.
Yes.
And it's on climate change policy. To make environmental options less costly for businesses to adopt, do you support offering more significant incentives to encourage businesses to improve the sustainability of the operations? And would you support making those incentives and supports more upfront and immediate in nature, as opposed to making businesses wait for rebates, reimbursements, or savings down the road? Mehreen.
Definitely, we would definitely do that. I think it is our vision, and it is, you know, this is what the Green Party stands for, to making sure that we have a sustainable environment. And the first thing that comes to having sustainability is to make sure that our businesses have that infrastructure to support that sustainability and are environmentally friendly. So we would definitely make sure that the businesses get that support and have that funding available where they can, because we're looking at a long term, and we owe this to our children to make sure that that we provide them, you know, with a good earth. We have clean air, we have, you know, clean water. So to the Green Party, that is a very big thing, and we will make sure that happens. We've established a 500 million fund to support sustainable jobs. We have a plan where, you know, we would have a transition program for workers in oil and gas and other industries to transition. So all of these things are part of our plan, and that would support the businesses to adopt sustainable practices.
Thank you, Mehreen. Anne, over to you. I think you're muted, Anne.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
I am very passionate about the environmental issues. In my days serving on Burnaby City Council, I had the honor of chairing the Environment Committee and work with Burnaby citizens on issues that affected them. And climate crisis is the global challenge of our time. We owe it to future generations to do our part. And the BC Liberals said that they cared about climate change, and then they failed to act on it. They abandoned action on climate pollution, and they gave up on meeting climate targets. But BC&DP is doing things differently. We are tackling climate change while making life better for people. We have begun our BC&DP Clean BC plan, and this Clean BC plan is the most ambitious climate plan in all of North America. To support businesses in making sustainable and environmentally responsible choices, we will be providing $105 million this year for incentives for industries to move to cleaner operations. And we will be increasing carbon price rebates for low and middle income families. We will also be giving rebates for electric vehicles and home efficiency upgrades. So supporting changes for individuals, businesses, industries, these are just some of the actions that we are taking to transition to a clean economy.
Thank you, Anne. We'll come on now, and I think it's your turn first, Anne, on this one, to childcare. The Burnaby Board of Trade believes that accessible childcare is pivotal to some workers being able to return to their jobs and to full productivity during COVID-19, but also as a longer-term strategy to increase the participation rate of women in the workforce. Can you speak to how you view the role of childcare in our economy, and what are your plans for making childcare more available and affordable? Anne.
Definitely, and as a parent of 2 children and working full-time, I really do value the work of childcare workers, and the role of childcare plays in the lives of working families. And affordable childcare means not asking parents to make the impossible choices like going to work or staying at home. The BC Liberals gave tax breaks to the richest while doing nothing for families struggling with childcare. They ignore the needs of BC families and BC businesses who have been calling for affordable, accessible, licensed childcare for years. And BC NDP created more childcare spaces in our first 10 months than the BC Liberals created in 4 years. In fact, BC NDP is creating childcare spaces at the fastest pace in the province's history. More than 32,000 families in BC are now receiving childcare for $10 a day or less, saving up to $1,600 per month per child. And we're creating more than 700 new spaces every month. I also want to recognize the valuable work that my colleague Katrina Chen, who is running Burnaby Low Heat, is doing and thank her for the work that she's doing. And if we're elected again, we will continue to create more childcare spaces.
Thank you, Anne. Mehreen, over to you.
Yeah, I would have to disagree with Anne on that. I am a resident, last 4-year resident. I'm a woman. I'm a single mom with 2 kids, and I don't have childcare in my riding. So after that, I would have a conversation with my NDP, MLA, and ask her what she has done for my riding before we get into that. So the childcare issue. I think the strategy that we have come out with on our platform is to make sure that there is a support for stay-home parents. A 500 per month for families. There is early childhood education and care. Like I mentioned, I've worked very closely with the current city council. One of our Green Party counselor is on city council, and we constantly have conversations around this and look at solutions and things. I think we need to really focus on I will speak from the riding perspective. I think it's very important to have childcare. I am personally, don't have childcare for my children. There is no spaces available in the daycares. I have to make ad hoc arrangements for my own children. So I understand this pain, and I know, and I go through this as a woman, as a professional working. So I will make sure that there are practical solutions out there, and we just don't talk. Less talk, more action.
Thank you. Thanks, Mehreen. We've just got a couple of questions left, and the next one, and we'll start with Mehreen on this, is on transportation. We all know that one of the key benefits to locating a business here in Burnaby is our central location in the region and our proximity to key transportation and transit infrastructure. What do you think are the key transportation challenges in our region, and what investments in infrastructure need to be made to ensure we can continue to move people, goods and services through Burnaby and across Metro Vancouver? And Mehreen, we'll start with you, please.
Yes, so like I said, I have been working closely with the City Council, and the Burnaby City Council currently has a new transportation plan, which is being designed. It is a very good plan. The official community plan will be is under consideration, and they're working on it. Burnaby is still a suburban Costco town. I think what we need to maybe look at is a 15-minute city urban planning. It is basically, everything should be about 15 minutes walking distance, which will then encourage small businesses also and promote that environment where small businesses can thrive if we have that kind of infrastructure. Yes, the metro town area is quite well covered by the transportation, but I think we need to expand in the rest of Burnaby to make sure there's more SkyTrain and buses access, but also making sure that it's a sustainable environment when we look at the transportation, public transportation. We, as BC Greens, we have prioritized investment in transit services coming out of COVID to support economic recovery.
Thank you, Mehreen. Anne, over to you.
Thank you. Transportation is an important issue for British Columbians, and especially for the city of Burnaby, as we are located as a throughway for Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley and for people across the province. And British Columbians should be able to go to work, run errands, return home to loved ones quickly and safely. And what the BC Liberals did when they were in government was charge unfair tolls and refuse to replace and build essential projects. And this left people stuck in traffic. the BC NDP are doing things very differently, and we are investing in projects to tackle congestion and save people money. Where we're making record investments in improving roads and bridges and transit so people can get to where they need to go quickly and safely. We have eliminated the tolls on the Portman Bridge and the Golden Year Bridge, saving drivers up to $1,500 a year. And we boosted investment in transit to build both the Broadway and Surrey SkyTrain lines and increase bus services through our communities. And as Minister of Citizen Services, during the pandemic, I was responsible for distribution and logistics of PPEs and making sure that these valuable resources were transported quickly and safely. So I know firsthand the importance of transportation to businesses.
Thank you, Anne. And we'll get to the last question now. And we start with you on this one, Anne. The Burnaby Board of Trade as an organisation has always had at our core the mantra of let's find a way to get to yes. And we've noticed that a hallmark of the response to COVID-19 by all levels of government has been very much an orientation to yes, a newfound willingness to act on files that were considered dormant or to get to new programs and get them launched quickly, such as allowing restaurants to expand patios and liquor service, or rolling out significant new funding and support programs in record time. Can you comment on this? And do you think this should be a model for how government can be more responsive and nimble in the future? Anne?
I do really appreciate this question. In a democratic nation such as Canada, citizens are able to participate in the consultation process of policymaking and elected representatives of people, such as an MLA, and we are able to debate policies, to express the views of people and represent people at the legislature. And during the pandemic, many things have changed, including the way we met as a legislature and the way we made decisions. And during the pandemic, all parties put aside our individual partisanship and agreed to work together to fight the pandemic together and support our citizens. And that's why pandemic relief for families and individuals and support for businesses, our economy, we were able to see an expedited response. We were in a crisis and we still are. And it is the government's job to step in as quickly as possible to provide these supportive services. So I understand that many times we want policies to move quickly, and I do appreciate Burnaby Board of Trade being a board of yes, but I also hope that British Columbians appreciate the thoughtfulness and the availability of a democratic consultative process that our BC NDP team has put in place to make sure that all voices are heard and considered before making a policy. Thank you, Anne.
Mehreen?
I appreciate that Anne just acknowledged that all the parties worked together to make sure that, you know, the British Columbians were getting what they needed in this time. Thank you so much for that. What I would comment is, yes, we do have a lot of regulations and things like that. You know, this pandemic has brought us to a different understanding of, you know, what is important and what is not important. I think from a regulation, yes, certain regulations are important, but certain things have become obsolete because we are in 2020. So we need to, like, you know, as a government, as an organization, are here to provide public service. And if we cannot service the public in an efficient and productive manner, I think then we need to look at these regulations and see what needs to be taken out of it. And like you said, things have been moving very smoothly because of COVID. Maybe that is what we need to do on a long-term basis, make sure that those redundant regulations, those regulations which are not necessary, are removed, and we make this process more smooth and efficient for not just for small businesses, but also for individuals on a long-term basis.
Thank you, Mehreen, and thank you to both of you. That's all the questions that we have time for today, and I appreciate you both providing such thoughtful responses to them. So thank you for joining us today, and thank you for offering to serve your communities. It's the same for Glynis from the BC Liberals, who, as I say, unfortunately wasn't able to join us today, but thanks to all of you for offering to serve your communities. It's such an important role, and we really appreciate that. I'd like to encourage, obviously, everyone to register to vote and to cast your votes by mail or by during the advance voting or on election day, Saturday, October the 24th. So very important that everyone gets out to vote. What's also important is next week is Small Business Week, and we have a week full of events that people can sign up to. So please visit our website, bbot.ca, and you'll see the full roster of events that we have for Small Business Week. And then just around the corner, we have our annual Business Excellence Awards on November the 5th. It's a Thursday lunchtime. Please register to look at the event online. Obviously, we're not able to gather the normal 400 people in a room this year, but we can certainly do our best for bringing everyone together online. So please go on and check that out. Anne and Mehreen, thank you again for joining us today. We really appreciate that, and keep up the good work. And we'll no doubt we'll get together again soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Paul.
having me.
Thank you,
Thank
Mehreen.
you. Bye.
Bye.